Enjoy the wine while you can today. Why aren't you asleep yet, my dear friends? A must-watch wilderness building video before bed. Guaranteed to give you a good night's sleep after watching today. I guess your phone's battery is around 57%. And you're lying in this exact posture. If I guessed right, leave a comment. If not, take a picture and post it in the comments. Now, please put your left foot behind your neck. Without further ado, let's dive straight into today's main topic. As the years go by, and the hustle and bustle fades away, Ivan's yearning for the primitive and tranquility grows increasingly stronger. So, taking advantage of his free time, he came to the beautiful Ionia. Right here, he puts down his luggage. I want to build a house worthy of this scenery. Facing the hard ground, Ivan spent only 2.5 hours. Carving out a flat foundation. Then, he brings in a large amount of gravel with a wheelbarrow, which will serve as the main base for the upcoming construction. After marking the area with wooden sticks and red string, he can use wild concrete to build the foundation. Looking at Ivan's professional techniques, he's clearly a master with decades of experience. In our village, he'd easily earn 250 a day. Soon, the foundation framework begins to take shape, and sturdy square timber serves as the base frame. Of course, for better stability, he uses mortise and tenon joints for every connection. Once the assembly is complete, he coats the square timber with anti-corrosion paint. A layer of asphalt paper is also applied on top. This extends the lifespan of the framework, while preventing moisture from corroding the cabin's structure. Meanwhile, the bored dog wanders over to supervise. Unfortunately, he didn't help much at all. As for the wall framework, Ivan has already pre-cut the mortises, so he can proceed directly to the installation. First, he stands the vertical columns upright, then secures them with temporary diagonal braces. This allows him to easily secure the horizontal beams. With the help of wild iron nails, the process is quite simple. Soon, a beautiful wooden cabin emerges. He also constructs the main door frame in advance, making the subsequent installation much easier. He extends a section of the framework in front of the door, which is a small balcony specially designed by Ivan. This area is supported by different types of pillars. After building the framework, he backfills the foundation pit, which also helps expand the surrounding flat area. Then he gathers some thinner wooden poles, planning to add extra structural details to the walls. As for the roof, Ivan has his own unique ideas. He doesn't want to stick to traditional structures, but instead plans to build an arched frame. He simply applies glue to flexible wooden strips, then stacks them layer by layer, bending and securing them into an arc. Once the glue dries, adding some screws makes it perfect. To make the construction easier, he specifically builds a set of scaffolding, so he can start installing the roof. The gables for the arched roof must be installed first. After nailing a layer of wooden boards, he cuts along the frame, resulting in a beautiful semicircular wall. Isn't this an absolute piece of art? He repeats the exact same process on the other side. With the walls ready, he simply lays out the roof panels one by one. Ivan uses an overlapping and alternating structure, which looks great and ensures a complete ceiling. Therefore, he only needs to brush on a layer of waterproof coating, and the roof will easily shelter the house from wind and rain. With the roof finished, he can start building the lower walls. Ivan uses these curved wooden planks for the entire wall, which gives it a highly aesthetic appearance. Relying on his years of building experience, he quickly finishes assembling all the walls. The interior floor is still a bit rough, so Ivan digs up some soil to level it out. He compacts it thoroughly until there are no gaps left. Now it's time for the wild concrete to shine. However, laying the floor tiles doesn't require adding water. He just mixes it evenly with sand before laying it down. These bluestone slabs are like natural tiles. Not only are their surfaces flat, but they also look incredibly beautiful. After laying them, Ivan gently sprays water over the area to moisten the sand mixture. This technique is commonly used in professional tile laying, making the floor not only more stable, but also preventing any hollow air pockets underneath. From this, you can tell that Ivan is highly professional. Next, he continues to chisel stone slabs to pave the doorway, and doesn't forget to build a beautiful step. I must say, his craftsmanship is absolutely stunning. The extra space on both sides is also put to good use. He builds low stone walls on the sides, where he can plant some vibrant flowers later. He feels the front wall of the cabin still lacks some flair, so he starts tinkering with the wood again. He cuts the ends of thin square timber into neat diamond shapes, then secures them evenly along the framework under the eaves. I strongly suspect he used to be a master designer. I could never come up with an artistic wall like this, even if I had a lifetime to think about it. With the exterior finished, it's time to focus on the interior trim. He first installs frames for all the windows. After taking some quick measurements, he begins crafting the windows. Just look at those professional techniques. He whips up beautiful window frames in no time at all. He even incorporates a locking mechanism. Secured with hinges, the windows open and close, buttery smooth. The main door, however, requires a much sturdier structure. He first uses square timber to assemble a solid frame. The joints of the frame are not only glued together, but also firmly secured with 4 screws each. Then he nails on a thick layer of plywood, creating a highly durable main door. Of course, our master artist doesn't stop there. He saws out a perfectly sized hole in the middle, installs a smaller frame, and then fills the surrounding area with wooden slats. This instantly elevates the door's aesthetics to a whole new level. Once installed, he also crafts a delicate door handle. Every step requires Ivan's meticulous polishing. Just look at this exquisite door latch. Out of 10 points, what score would you give him? With the doors and windows finished, he proceeds to install the glass. He does the same for the reserved opening in the middle of the main door. Now, this little cabin is giving off serious luxury mansion vibes. Looking at the leftover materials from the foundation work, Ivan decides to do a little art project. He carefully carves out his own channel name and mounts it proudly on the upper wooden wall. From now on, this cabin has a unique identity of its own. There's still quite a bit of anti-corrosion paint left over, so Ivan coats all the exterior pillars and beams with a thorough layer of it. This way, the wood won't rot even after 100 years. At this point, the entire cabin is officially complete. Of course, this is merely a small part of Ivan's grand blueprint. To make outdoor cooking more convenient, he plans to build an outdoor oven in the yard. The dirt slope on the edge is the ideal spot for it. He first carves out a neat vertical dirt wall. Then, he stacks natural stones, layer by layer, creating a highly robust and solid foundation structure. Of course, this retaining wall is just to prevent mudslides. The construction of the actual oven is just beginning. He lays down a base of heat-resistant red fire bricks. Then he uses branches to create an arched support frame. Next, he builds an arched stone wall around the wooden frame. And just like that, a beautiful outdoor oven takes shape. Of course, the edges must also be reinforced with stone slabs. This takes the oven's visual appeal to a whole new level. While backfilling, he also digs out a proper drainage ditch. This way, even heavy rain won't cause any issues. Finally, he installs the chimney pipe, and it looks impressive. To ensure maximum heat retention, the top needs to be thickly coated with clay. As for the exposed soil edges, Ivan carefully decorates them with fresh moss. As soon as it's done, he can't wait to light a fire and test it out, which simultaneously helps bake and dry the wet clay. He uses the remaining stones to pave a neat little pathway. This adds a wonderful rustic charm to the entire yard. Now that the cooking setup is ready, he naturally needs a proper place to eat and prep food, so Ivan starts processing timber once again. He splits fresh logs in half and carefully scrapes off the bark. Giving him beautiful and natural building materials. Then he digs holes and buries the pre-treated anti-corrosion pillars. He carefully cuts mortise slots at all the connecting joints. Ivan is always so rigorous and meticulous in his work. After assembling the pieces, a beautiful outdoor table set emerges. It's so incredibly sturdy that it wouldn't collapse even if an elephant stood on it. Afterwards, Ivan brings over some pine saplings. In just a few years, they will grow into towering trees, providing lovely shade. After days of exhausting work, he finally has a moment to sit down and enjoy a hot cup of tea. Perhaps feeling that the bench isn't quite comfortable enough, he starts tinkering again. After just a few minutes of rest, he removes the bark from some naturally curved branches and installs them behind the bench to create a perfect backrest. With the light blue smoke drifting from the outdoor oven and the golden autumn forest surrounding him like a painting, this entire scene feels like something straight out of a dream. The flower beds on both sides of the door can't be left empty. They are perfect for planting 2 small Christmas trees. They'll be just the right size to decorate when the holidays arrive. Once all the hard work is completely done, he finally has time to prepare a relaxing dinner. He brings out a full basket of fresh ingredients for this. First, he needs a soft dough and sets it aside to rise. Then, he uses some leftover wood to make a beautiful cutting board. It's clearly designed to be used with his newly built oven. Once the dough has risen, he rolls it out into a flat pizza base. He tops it with ham, fresh vegetables, and a generous sprinkle of shredded cheese, creating a beautifully crafted, delicious, large pizza. While waiting for it to bake, he whips up a special dipping sauce. Once the pizza is baked golden and crispy, it's ready to be devoured. Watching this late at night is literally making me drool. How come even the dog gets a slice, and I don't? This is honestly just a bit too cruel. After eating his fill and sipping on some hot tea, this cozy little life in the woods is truly pure bliss.